Hello. Today I wanted to share with you more on a personal note and let you know what's going on with me. Things have shifted majorly, and some of you who follow me on Instagram or on my email list, you already know about what I'm going to say, but this is a more sort of contextual story about what's going on and sort of the arc of this journey. And essentially what's happening is I am going through a spiritual awakening, another big spiritual awakening, and it's bringing me to God. I hesitated to share that at first because I didn't know what people were going to think, and I didn't grow up with an understanding at all or presence of God, but just knowing this sort of childlike, innocent knowing that there is something out there that is bigger than me. And I didn't go really looking for God necessarily, in the sense that I didn't just one day wake up and be like, I want to know God. It just happened. It unfolded in my journey. And today, actually, earlier, I was thinking about how everything's been happening for me. And I was like, now that I have an understanding of God that feels true to me, which is that God is the eternal, loving, all good, only presence and spiritual reality that there is, I was like, haven't I been searching for God this whole time through my healing journey, through my self-healing journey, on my spiritual evolution? Hasn't every step been, in one way or another, just a step closer to coming home to the kingdom? So, and back home to the source of all that is, that created me and created you and this universe and everything in it. So, in a sense, I have been on this journey and just didn't realize where it was leading to, or that I would call it by the name of God, but that's what it is. And it's honestly so exciting. And I have so much to share, I feel like, about how it came to be and what it means for my work and the way that I'm moving towards just in my day-to-day life. But I just wanted to, I guess, share that with you, because so much of what I share here on YouTube is my wisdom that I've accumulated over my own healing journey through the many different phases, methods, and just seasons of my life that I've moved through. And I've sort of worked through these different methodologies, these different concepts, these different ideas, and I've always been a deeply spiritual being, and just recognizing that in different ways, in different facets. So this feels like a massive jump in the sense that the way that the verbiage, I think, that's coming through, and the way that I'm understanding it. But I've received some feedback from people in my life that it would make sense, that this would be the natural next step, and that it would make sense that I'm exploring God as a spiritual being. So I felt called to share this more personal piece with you, because what I found historically is that even when I feel called to share something really personal that I don't know why, somebody always leaves a comment or sends me a message saying this was exactly what I needed to hear. So I trust that I'm not the only one on this journey right now, and that these words are reaching the hearts and the minds and the spirit of you, the people who need to hear it right now and maybe are on this exact journey alongside me. So I honor you, I see you, and I'm so glad that we found each other in this vast universe. And that you're watching this right now. So thank you for being here and supporting my channel. I have been envisioning a change for a while now. I just didn't expect it to come in this form. And just the way that everything has been woven together is just so intricate and beautiful. But I did not appreciate it even just a week ago, 2 weeks ago. When I was very much in the depths of the darkness and could not see the light, I guess you could say. I couldn't bear to think about anything other than what was immediately happening in my physical reality. And that in and of itself is like a really perfect example, a microcosm of what this whole evolution, this stage of my evolution has been about, which if you followed my work or maybe on your own journey, you have been sort of immersed in the world of somatic work and listening more to your body and connecting more to your senses, just kind of almost rooting even further down into the physical world, which I feel for in terms of like embodiment work, in the world of embodiment work, that is like the core of what makes it powerful and important. And at the same time, I personally was hitting a place where I was getting so weighed down by it. Like I felt so heavy, everything felt so effortful, and inner work just felt almost impossible. Like I rarely use those kinds of words, but truly it was feeling like such a weight on me. Like I just had to try so hard, do so much work, and the outcomes didn't seem to be flowing and coming in the way that I knew was possible, even with all the wisdom that I understood about embodiment work. So things just were not making sense to me, and my life was reflecting that. My business was going through a really challenging season, and my relationships were going through some challenges too, and these two areas that I really cherish and value. So it was bringing me to this place of confusion and almost feeling a little defeated about the situation. But what it really reflected back to me, and that I can see so clearly now that have come out of that, is that that's the thing about methods that really are grounded in the physical. They will ground you. They will do exactly what is described. And I think for us beings who want to align with also our spiritual identity too, that is so needed and so good for us for a period of time. I personally, through somatic parts work, somatic attachment work, really needed to be in my body to learn to hold more and be able to feel more, be able to anchor more energy, and to also learn to validate myself. I think that it was the perfect bridge for me to be able to bring the love, the attention, the care, the needs. Like it was like me, my current self mostly, and some divine energies that were playing into the providing to the inner parts of me that were feeling unhealed and traumatized and unintegrated. And I started to play with working with divine masculine, divine feminine energies, And that was really working for me for a while, incorporated into parts work, sort of matching that like opposite polarity and providing what I needed, just using like divine energies. And then over time, kind of in the background, I was studying Divine Metaphysics. And under the system Divine Metaphysics, we have a mother, father, God, meaning masculine and feminine energies that are divine and the only source of love. They're all loving, like nothing else exists. And so at some point I realized, like just recently, as things have unfolded in the way that they do, that the work that I was doing inside of somatic work and parts work and inner work could be made easier when I incorporate divine metaphysics into it. Not just the putting the divine feminine, divine masculine, like into like meshing that in, but actually following and really committing to the system of reasoning that starts with a unwavering knowing and belief that our spiritual reality is eternal and infinite, and that we are immortal, and that God, love, truth, power, life is unchanging, unwavering, is forever as it is. It just is. And we, made in the image and likeness of our Creator, reflect these qualities and so many other divine qualities too. And so the more that I realized that there is a way, because I knew in my head, I've always known and been taught that like these other methods, like parts work and other new age sort of methods, are based in this idea of wholeness, and that everything is interconnected. And yet, in practice, I felt like this system, Divine Metaphysics, because its basic premise is, it always starts from the place of wholeness, of like we have everything that we need, we are made perfect, we are love. There is an inseparable connection that never changes between us and the eternal source of everything, because it starts there. I felt like that was a more effortless way to reveal to us what we already are, instead of the healing and the trying to change and transform and like doing to work up to that. That's what it's felt like for me. I know maybe it's not the same for everybody, but ultimately underneath this belief and this knowing that we are one and like we are whole, I was still using methods that kind of had to work its way up to that understanding, instead of starting with that understanding and then applying it down to all of the things that we experience in our physical, emotional, mental lives that are just a reflection of that wholeness. And there's so much that I could say about that and the whole system, which I've already started to teach inside of my Instagram subscription. I'll leave more information in the description box below about how you can join that. And I also have a broadcast channel on Instagram. It's free, and I drop some voice notes pretty often about principles of divine metaphysics there too, and I'll leave all that in the description box below. But aside from that, I just wanted to, sort of share that when I took up this system that starts with wholeness truly, even though it is a mind-based system of reasoning, it was able to bring me relief, calm, peace, healing, like actual physical healing in ways that I've never experienced before. And that is saying a lot as someone who has worked extensively with physical pain and is able to make it disappear pretty much instantaneously. So I had experiences like that, but with breaking a fever and headache using my thoughts. I had experiences of transforming relationship conflicts. I've had experiences of just being guided and being guided in my work and moving with such speed and swiftness and no resistance at all. And these things were happening so quickly and so rapidly, and in a way that I had not experienced with the methods before, that I started to have to admit that, okay, there is a greater truth that is unfolding itself to me, and I can either sit here and pretend that that's a nice thing to play with and know and sort of just like go about doing what I'm doing, but as a truth seeker, that's not how I can live in most integrity with who I am. And I desire to know the truth. I desire to explore a deeper truth when I become aware that there is one. And so this journey of starting to apply the system of divine metaphysics has been already incredible. I have only wholeheartedly started practicing it on a daily basis for a week now, and I have to say that it feels at times challenging, because working with our thoughts is not easy, but also at the same time like less work than holding my feelings, regulating my nervous system, having to just like break down every experience into just matter and heavy, dense things, versus I think that work has like healed the parts of me that were needing that validation enough that I could move on to a system where I could just purely work with my thoughts. And I will say that in the past, I have done mindset work and have dabbled with metaphysics before, but it had always felt like I was invalidating my authentic thoughts and feelings and just trying to override them with positive thinking. Divine metaphysics is not that. And it can feel that way, though, if you are at a stage in your journey where you are needing more validation, in which case these attachment-based methods are like really good for that. But for me, 4 years ago, for example, I tried doing something similar and it didn't work for me. Metaphysics didn't work for me because I was still needing a lot of validating. I wasn't able to get to a place where I could let go of my current experiences and feelings and in order to make space for something new and different, without completely invalidating myself and abandoning, betraying my authentic self. And now I feel like those wounds have healed over so much because of the self-validation and somatic work and attachment work that I've done. So now I'm in a place where I feel ready. I feel ready to let go of the stories, the much broader, more deeper, more pervasive ways of experiencing my life. Like, for example, the theme that success has to come with pain and suffering, that love has to be painful, that, like these much more larger themes. I'm able to work with that using the system of divine metaphysics, divine science, to deal with it at the source, which is ultimately thought. And I'm feeling right now like a mixture of appreciation, gratitude, and also sadness over, yeah, like the moving on process of like, I really loved this phase and this season of healing. It brought so much comfort and so much safety and peace to me. And I think, again, like that's sort of what happened is I got too comfortable. I felt too safe when actually what I'm calling in is growth and expansion. And that in a season of growth and expansion, I'm needing different tools. I'm needing different tools to accomplish something different. And that the stories that my consciousness was holding on to in this past period of my life, I worked a lot on transforming those beliefs, like one little piece and part at a time. But this, I feel like, is a much more just like a broad spectrum, like the literal source of the actual thought and belief that is creating all of the, and contributing and replaying all of the experiences that my parts are having. At least from what I can see right now, I believe that it does come from human consciousness. And that in the system of divine metaphysics, divine consciousness, divine mind is the only reality that there is. And in a loving way, not in a way of I'm going to erase you, I'm going to eliminate you, and what you believe doesn't matter. It's not like that. It doesn't have to be like that. And so what I've experienced is this washing away, this real more effortless dissolving and melting away of these really deeply held erroneous beliefs about the nature of who I am, how I experience life, what I am. And I feel I've had moments of like total peace, freedom, bliss, joy in this past week of completely devoting myself to practicing these concepts and really being mindful of my thoughts that I haven't felt in a very long time, if ever. And I'm just sitting here like excited about the future and how it's going to unfold for me as I continue to embrace more of this a metaphysical way of being. And I hope that if you are also in a place of curiosity and find or feel like this could be helpful for you, that you might consider joining me on this journey. And I'm not going to share too much about it at this point on YouTube, but where I'm doing it primarily is on Instagram. So again, I have my free broadcast channel, which is just it goes straight to your DMs. I send a about 5-minute voice note pretty often to share some quick concepts and ideas about divine metaphysics that you can apply right away. And it's not a spam group. I've turned off the comment replies, so it'll just be coming from me. And also for those who really want to go deeper and really immerse yourself into it with me, I have the paid subscription. So that is a monthly cancel anytime subscription that you can find on my Instagram profile. And I will be, for now, because the topic at hand is divine metaphysics, we're going to be focusing on that. And then maybe eventually if things evolve and morph and other ideas come into the picture, that we can break those down and discuss those too. And just learn in a deep dive kind of way where the videos are, so far they're between 7 to 10 minutes long, which is unusual for Instagram, but I figured that that would be the best way to do it for now. And as things continue to grow and evolve, I will just follow along and follow suit as I'm guided. So I really hope that I get to spend more time with you inside one or both of those channels. And thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if you are also on this journey and resonating with anything that I've experienced. And I just want you to know that I'm so, so grateful for you. And this would not be possible at all if not for your presence on YouTube, on Instagram, on email, wherever you are and show up to support me, to support other creators. And I just am seriously having a moment of awe right now that this can be a way of life, and just being valued for the journey that you go through and the wisdom that you have to share. And I hope that one day soon everybody can experience that. So thank you for making that possible.